Yeah. All right, let's go on to 4A Division 2. All right, top bracket or top region here, Region 1. Monahans over Ferris, 35-21, and Godly with a sneaky win over Seminole, 41-40. That was a close game. Seminole, district champion of District 2, out in the area round. It's going to set up a matchup of Monahans Godly in the third round. In the bottom half, this one's going to be a good matchup down below. I think this may determine the region winner as Hershey knocks off West Plains Amarillo 42-17, and Glen Rose all over Fort Stockton 63-12. This Hershey Glen Rose game, Corey, I think this is going to determine your region winner. No offense to the top two of Monahans and Godly, but Hershey we've talked about most of the year. They've been a favorite in Region 1, and Glen Rose is on a roll right now. They're putting up big points and not allowing a whole lot. So I think this is the matchup right now for this region.
Yeah, I mean, Hershey's been here before. They know what it takes to get back, and no surprise. So it's a business trip for them, and it's not going to be an easy matchup. Glen Rose is good, and we know Hershey's good as well. Especially when Glen Rose is averaging just about 60 points a game. And so it's going to be a defensive battle, or whoever scores 41st wins the game. So
yeah. What do you think about that matchup, Chris? You think that's going to determine the region there too?
Well, it should. I mean, like you've mentioned several times today, it should be somebody from that bottom part, but you just never know. You've got a team like Godly that, they barely got by Seminole, but they got by them. So that's that theory that I forget what Corey calls it, but I've always said, somewhere along the line, if you can play a game and win a very tight game,
survive and advance.
Exactly. You are battle tested, and you can do anything after that.
Yeah.
That's tough.
Yeah. All right. Region 2. We've got
got a lot of playing to do still.
They still got a couple of games, and Eddie's headed to one of those games right now in Frisco. We've got the top bracket, has not been played yet. This is a game that Corey and I talked about heading out to watching today if the weather permits. Aubrey versus Center at 6:00 today at Tyler Mother Francis or Trinity Mother Francis Rose Stadium in Tyler here where we are. This is going to be a really good game. It's going to be a really good game. We're on opposite sides of the picks here, Corey. I know you went with your Center. I took Aubrey just because I think they're a better team. Now, if Center wins, I'll be happy. It's an East Texas squad, but our theories are different with the pick'em, Chris. We'll just say that. Corey is I'm going to pick East Texas no matter if it's Carlisle versus Argyle. He's taking Carlisle. I'm taking the pick who I think is going to win, but I still may root for another team.
Sure.
So, but I think Center. I don't think this is a bad pick. If you go with Center, I think they're in a tough district, obviously, and they played Carthage as good as anybody has this year.
Probably the best anybody's played Carthage.
Yeah, and then you've got Caddo Mills and Pleasant Grove playing today at the Star in Frisco, 7 p.m. I like Pleasant Grove in that one. I just think that they're just going to be a little bit better than Caddo Mills. Caddo Mills is coming out of a weaker district.
I like Pleasant Grove also because I know more about them. But what do you guys have you seen the Foxes play? I mean, they're sitting at 11-0, so they've beaten somebody.
Yeah.
But at this point in time, to be honest with you, there's three consonants here. There's Gilmer, there's Carthage, and then right below there's Pleasant Grove. Yeah, and if you're going to be Pleasant Grove, you're probably going to be Carthage or Gilmer. And so that's pretty much now Center. I said this before, and I do want to mention this. Center is the darling of this region because they've been playing very good football. Aubrey, those 380 schools, and I call them those 380 schools because that 380 corridor, all those things are playing really good football right now. center is very sneaky. They are very good, very athletic. So it's one of those games where they could probably, if it goes down the fourth quarter, they may be able to outgash Aubrey. 34 to 31 to 24, something like that. And then Pleasant Grove has to play a very, very, very good battle tested center team. So it could be an East Texas region for all we know, but I don't know. This is going to shape out to be a really good one.
Well, I have to tell you, I'm going to go with center in that game too, but for my own reason because I went to college at Stephen F. Austin, and a girl I dated at the time was from center.
Oh,
Okay.
oh,
So you got some ties to it. I like that. That's another theory you got. I'm tied to the team theory. Just go with them. I like that.
oh, no,
So
he's a
now
lumberjack
Eddie's
and I'm a bearcat. No wonder we
Eddie.
clash. No wonder we
Here we
clash.
go. Here we go. Here we
I,
go.
I
Oh, we
like
got we
this.
got Sam Houston versus SFA. Here we go. Hey, and Eddie's talking about 34% win percentage. I don't know which game he's talking about. He said the opponent is that going to be the center. Let us know what game you're talking about, Eddie.
Yeah.
I think that's what he's talking about.
Center
Is
Aubrey.
Okay.
Caddo Mills. I had
Oh,
asked
Caddo
about
Mills.
11-0. They've beaten somebody, and he's saying that but
Let's see.
their
We got
opponents.
winner of C comes out of region. Yeah. I mean CM opponents. Okay. Oh, state champion comes out of region 2. Yeah, I think that's probably true. Patsma's going with center and coach Tyrell Jenkins. I guess she knows one of the coaches. That's a good reason to pick them. Yeah, I think that. Now we talk about that when we go down to the bottom, and we got a heavyweight fight coming up. Now we'll see if it's the Gilmer of old that can compete with Carthage. I'm not sure they are this
No.
year.
No.
As they knocked off Gainesville 60-20, and Carthage beat Van Alstyne 61-30, which 30 points is maybe the most that they've allowed all year. I'm not sure anybody scored 30 this year on Carthage. Now, they may have rested some folks. We know how that goes. You get in the playoffs, you get ahead. You don't want to get anybody injured. So that's going to set up a Carthage Gilmore matchup. I've not heard where that's going to be yet. I've been trying to
I think it's
look
in
around.
Longview. I think
Is
it's
it
in
going to be
Longview.
long?
It's in Longview.
He
Surprise,
says,
surprise.
Eddie says Gilmer QB is, I guess, saying out. Now, I don't know. I know he probably didn't play this last week because there wasn't any need to, but it'll be interesting to see if he's able to return versus Carthage because that'll be a big deal. If they don't have the quarterback, I keep
Little
thinking
Tennyson. I'm just gonna call him Little Tennyson.
Yeah, it's the
Yeah,
younger Tennyson.
younger
He played
Tennyson.
well against Chapel Hill. I was
Yeah.
impressed by his performance. He that was his
Mhm.
first start, and he played real well. And
JV
so,
quarterback could have played well that game. We had too many turnovers.
well, that's true. You turn the ball over 7 times, you're not going to do very
The
well.
field position, anybody could have played that game. But
Yeah,
yeah,
but he did play. He managed
yeah.
the game well. He didn't turn the ball over. He did what he needed to do. So
Carthage. It's Carthage in this region. As much as I hate to say it, they're not. Gilmer's not beating Carthage. Gilmer's name is better than what they are this year. Just this year. So I'm saying
Mhm.
just this year. So
yeah, yeah. I think if Carthage was not in the picture, then I would
it'd be
say
Pleasant
Gilmer.
Grove. I'll probably pick Pleasant Grove, maybe even Center.
Okay. Okay. Well, it'll be interesting to see who comes out of the top region, and we'll those games will be today. We'll go over to Region 3. It's got some interesting matchups here. We've got well, actually, Corey, you want to do that one? Go ahead and do Region 3.
Absolutely. So we got Silsby taking on Smithville. I could not say that word today. Silsby taking on Smithville, 34-0. Silsby, of course, is rolling. We already know that. And Madisonville with the win over Beeville, 9-3. So Silsby versus Madisonville.
Is that
It
a
is going to
baseball
be a track
score?
meet. Yeah,
Is that
right.
base 9-3?
It's like a baseball score. But that's going to be a track meet for sure. Silsby versus Madisonville. I'm interested to see where they play. Maybe Huntsville, probably Sam Houston, probably. But that's a good matchup there. Silsby's probably going to win that one by a lot. Um, Upset. This is definitely an upset for me. Waco Conley, the Cadets, got beat by Hampshire, 33-30. So that's an upset there. And then Sealy was not going to beat Cuero 41-18. Cuero over Sealy. So Cuero has an easier time getting through this region, but it clearly looks like a Silsby Cuero matchup in this region there. So I don't see anything changing that at this point.
Yeah, I would agree with that one too. I mean, Cuero had to win in overtime the previous week, and I think that was a wake up for them. And now Cuero's playing like Cuero, so I see them matching up with Silsby. I have not seen Silsby live this year, so I don't know what to expect there, but
Speed,
it should be a good
speed. And they score a
Yeah.
lot of points.
I think honestly, I think the winner of Region 3 is going to match up against Carthage. If I was guessing in the state game, I think
Mhm.
that's this. It's Silsby and Cuero are both really strong, so I think that's
Well,
now.
I don't think you can knock off Region 4 because
Okay, okay.
if
Well,
you look
you got
at
Wimberley. You're going to talk about Wimberley. I
yeah,
so
if you look at Wimberley's district, all four teams won.
yeah.
So they're rolling.
Okay.
Wimberley knocked off Orange Grove 48-0. Gerald knocked off Port Isabel 35-21. Lago Vista takes care of Sinton 42-7. Geronimo Navarro 28, Bishop 14. So you've got a whole lot of rematches going on now.
Right.
Lago
Yeah.
Vista, Geronimo Navarro, Wimberley, Gerald.
So you basically have a district playoff now.
Yeah, exactly.
So they could have just basically Region 4. You could have just said, okay, we're going to take District 13. Everybody else go home.
Everybody else
We're going to do a
go.
1 versus 4, 2 versus 3. Whoever wins the region.
Yeah, and
That's
Wimberley
that's
has rolled through that. So, I
Oh,
think you
hey,
can't overlook
Chris.
Wimberley.
Chris Eddie's got a comment directed at you here.
I see that. I see that.
I'm sure he'll give you some numbers to back that up too, Chris. Eddie is our numbers man. He always has numbers to back that up. I think, and here's my take. I kind of agree with Eddie. I think they're weaker. I think Wimberley is definitely the class of it. So if anybody else knocks off Wimberley, Region 4 doesn't have a chance.
Right,
I
right.
think if
No, I
Wimberley
agree.
is able to get out, then they could compete. I just think that Region 3 team will be better and will win.
Well, I think Wimberley's head and shoulders above the rest in the region. I think Wimberley and Cuero represents a real good matchup. That could be a great game. Those two have rivalry going way back. Again, I don't know enough about Silsby to know, but I think Wimberley can hang with Cuero.
yeah.
Okay. All right.
It's gonna be. I would not be surprised if it's Hershey, Carthage, Silsby, and Wimberley.
That's a good 4. I
Yep.
wouldn't argue with that.
Yeah.
Would
So
be
I think when
surprised.
we've talked about this particular classification kind of most of the year, as there's some that are like wide open. Like we'll get to the next one, 4A
Mhm.
Division 1. I think there's a number of teams that can get in and out of those. This one you had like there's been like 4 to 6 teams that you could say, all right, I think those teams are going to be the final 4. And only a couple of regions there was a question. Like we talked about, Hershey was pretty strong. Now Glen Rose is right there, but I still think Hershey comes out of that. Then like we said, Wimberley, possibly Cuero and Silsby, and then you got Carthage, and I think Gilmer got thrown in there. I don't think they're at that level, but I think you could see there's only that's top heavy. You've got a top 6 or 7 teams that are going to be the ones that are going to be competing for those regional spots. So it'll be interesting to see how it shakes out. Anybody else got anything they want to talk about there, or y'all want to slide on over to 4A Division 1? I'm ready to talk about that one.
I'm ready to
Let's
talk
do it.
about 4A Division 1.
Hey, I do have to say though, Brett, when you ask Corey, hey, would you like to go over this one? He gives the best answer every time. Absolutely. I love
Absolutely.
it. So ask him again.
All right, Corey, do you want to start with Region 1, 4A Division 1?
Absolutely.
All right. Let's go with it.
All right, here we go. We have Big Springs getting knocked off by Wichita. 31-7, and then of course we got Brownwood taking care of Canyon, 31-10. So Wichita Falls and Brownwood will square off in the next round there. Of course, we got Randall taking care of Estacado 27-14, and then surprise, surprise, Decatur taking on Andrew 42-15. So we got Randall and Decatur taking on each other to see who's going to get the matchup between Wichita Falls and Brownwood. So interesting enough, I think Decatur takes that region. That's just me personally. They've been good all year, and I've heard nothing but good things about Decatur thus far.
I think Decatur Brownwood's regional final, and I wouldn't be surprised if either one of those teams win.
I'm with you, Brett. Decatur Brownwood as the final, and either one wouldn't surprise me.
Flip a coin.
Yeah.
I mean, either one of them. I'm ready to get down here to Region 2. Okay. There's a lot to talk about in Region 2. China Spring over Coffin, 41-7. No surprise there. This one was not surprised, like just weird. Lake Worth over Carter, 7-2. Do these guys just ready to go play round ball? I think they will be after next week, as right. I think China Springs going to roll over Lake Worth next week. No problem. I think Kaufman was better team than either one of those teams. I think it's just the way the bracket fell. Mm-hmm. So China Spring looks to move on to the regional, and then this bottom half was two great games. As Salina knocks off Kennedale 34-28, it's going to set up a matchup with Anna, as Anna knocks off Stephenville 33-32. And Chris, this is where I wish we had Grant and Terry as they went to that game. Did you talk to them at all?
I have not talked to him about that game. I just one of the coaches on Stephenville is a friend, and he told me it was a heartbreaker of a loss for them.
That's two of those like that.
Yeah,
like at the very last, as Lake Worth has two bookends that can play.
So he's saying don't sleep on them, China Spring.
Well, right. I mean, it again. You have to line up and dress out. So, I mean,
to me though, honestly, and this is weird because Aubrey, Salina, Melissa, Anna, Van Alstine, they've all been good this year. And if you know anything about 380, those 380 schools, Frisco dominates everything in 380. Everybody goes to Frisco ISD. So those schools are in, I don't want to say rock throwing distance of each other. It's kind of like Henderson, Kilgore, Chapel Hill, everybody else. They're in that same area. So it's going to be competitive no matter what. So I'm interested to see how that may be. It's shaping up to be one of the second best districts in this area. And as far as competitive, because you already know it's Salina. I mean, it's Salina. You don't have to say too much. So Salina and Anna, I'm pretty sure they'll probably either play at McKinney or Prosper. So we'll see. We'll see how that goes.
That's going to be a really good matchup. Any of those three, I could see any of those three teams winning that region. China Spring, Salina, and I know China Spring is kind of everyone's favorite, but they're also the defending champions, and it's tough to be the defending champion because everyone's going to get your best shot, and they've been number one for most of the season after they beat Stephenville. So I think they're going to get an easier path to the regional. Obviously, Anna Salina is going to be a dogfight. These
Coyotes,
man, it's going to be.
Coyotes.
And so whoever gets there to play China Spring, I think has a great chance to knock them off because they're going to be more battle tested, I think, than what China Springs had to play. Now, on the opposite end, there's the other team going to be beat down by the time they get there. So you've got two ways to look at it, but I think either your matchup is going to be a really good one.
I think the Coyotes take it. I think Coyotes take China Spring. Once you beat the defending state champion in one division, you riding high at this point. Stephenville is not a pushover at all. Not a pushover at all.
No, not at all. No, that surprised me. That's when I know they're 11-0, but that's when I took Anna seriously when they knocked off DeVille. That's pretty big.
Yeah,
and so that can be Salina. That tradition. I don't know. So we'll see.
Well, but the fact that Mark Henry mentions Lake Worth, I know him very well. He runs our Third Coast Gridiron show, our Houston area one. He does a ton with the Top Texas Prospects show, covering the top prospects around the state. So if he says they have two bookends that could play, and you look at what they did, they ended up only gave up 2 points.
Right.
That's a
Well,
strong
and the
defense.
defense didn't give them up.
Yeah.
That means the offense got a
Right,
safety. So,
right,
Right.
exactly. So
yeah.
yeah,
Well, that'll
I
be
don't,
a challenge. That'll be
now
the
I want to
biggest.
watch Lake Worth.
Now you got to.
Right.
That's going to be their biggest challenge all year is to slow down China Springs.
There you go.
So it'll really show how good they are. All right, Corey, I'm going to throw Region 3 to you, and then this is going to be some interesting talk here. We've got some real good matchups here in
Absolutely.
Region
So
3.
I'm gonna get real East Texan here for a moment. So I'm just gonna say some of these schools here. Chapel Hill beat Bay City 38-24. Lumberton beat Stafford 23-8. So that matchup we all been waiting for, Lumberton versus Chapel Hill. Been a lot of talk around the state about Lumberton being better than Chapel Hill. It's a 6-7 matchup. It's going to be played in New Caney, so we'll see how that matchup goes. I I'm just a little insight on the Bay City game, Chapel Hill Bay City game. Bay City did play very well.
Yeah,
Um, but I will say this. We kind of gave them a lot of opportunity to succeed. So a lot of strip sacks, a lot of fumbles, good field position. Minus that is probably a 54-17 victory.
but that's what you said about Gilmer too, is we gave
Exactly.
them opportunities,
Exactly.
and that
So
tells you something to me about Chapel Hill. If they keep giving people these
exactly.
opportunities,
Exactly. So
Well,
it's not a
hey,
clean.
Corey,
It's not a win. It's
Corey?
not a clean
We
one.
had a pregame show, and what did I talk about in the pregame show?
Yeah.
What was one of my points of
Yeah.
emphasis was
Yeah.
protecting the ball. That was one of my
Yeah.
keys to the game. Also, the Blue Storm defense though played a great game.
Defense played
They got
well.
put in some bad spots,
Mhm.
and were able to hold Bay City to some turnover on downs, some turnovers. I believe it was 5-4 in the turnover battle. A lot of turnovers in this game. Chapel Hill had 5, Bay City had 4. But I think the turnovers that Chapel Hill gave were more. It was damaging a little more. They had the strip where Brisbane did the spin. He got stripped completely. Bay City guy almost returned it for a touchdown, left him on Chapel Hill's doorstep. Yeah, Miss Basamas, you should be very proud of your son. He played a great game. I think the main difference in this game, and Corey, you may agree with me on this or you may not, the line. Chapel
Yeah.
Hill's defensive and offensive line dominated this game. They absolutely dominated. I mean, Estrada, the quarterback for Bay City, was running for his life all night long.
To be fair, let's just be honest and be fair. Bay City was not the worthy opponent. They were not as good as they were supposed to be. Chapel Hill kind of allowed them to play in the game a little bit. And I said it before, if you let an inferior opponent hang around, they'll gain confidence throughout the game. And then all of a sudden the game becomes more of a game. So that kind of what it looks like. But I take nothing against, take nothing off Bay City. They came out, they played aggressive and they scrapped and they made it a game out of what shouldn't have been a game. So, what we know about Lumberton, they're very athletic, extremely fast, big up front, and this is probably one of the best Lumberton teams that they've had. So this is one of those games where Chapel's going to have to buckle up the chin strap. They're going to have to play their better football they've played as of late. So this is a trap game for them. Being a homer, this is a trap game for Chapel Hill. This is not a it's not a little bitty match. It's not playing Lindale or Kilgore. This is a trap game. So Lumberton is a worthy opponent. They're gonna come out and play. And this is a game they got to come out and be good. I don't want to say be perfect, but play good football. And you can't give good football teams opportunities to give good field position. You can't turn the ball over, throw interceptions. They play sloppy, so we gotta know what you gotta do next week. So that's what I think. But moving along, we'll say this: Lindale and Kilgore playing in Trinity Mother Francis Road Stadium. Surprise, surprise! Another District of Doom matchup. I'm just gonna say this: Kilgore took care of El Campo 34-20. That was a surprising win. A lot
Yeah.
of people didn't think so. I didn't think that was a surprising win. We've seen Kilgore play numerous times. We know what Kilgore's capable of. And then, of course, I'm gonna jump to Lindale here real quick because Lindale was down most of the game against Brazosport. They ended up coming out 42-28. I remember saying last week, watch out for Lindale because Lindale's a very well coached football team and they will compete. So Lindale is playing good football. Kilgore is playing good football at this point. That is a matchup where I wouldn't want to be Kilgore at this point because Lindale may be able to sneak that game and upset Kilgore. And who knows? All those teams are playing well. This is a good region. Anything can happen at this point in this region right now.
Yeah, Mark's saying Lumberton's a sleeper for the state. Offensive and defensive line are physical and fast. So that's going to be a good matchup because I think our line is also up for that. So it's going to be a good matchup. Going to be Friday, 7 p.m. in New Caney, in a nice facility there.
Yep.
So, Chris, you got any thoughts on this region? Now that we want to get your opinion. We have a lot of opinions in this region.
No. I'm like I said. I've been weighing in. I'm always deferring to Mark Henry. So now I'm giving Lumberton a shot. Kilgore took it to El Campo. Like you said, El Campo wasn't the El Campo of old. They still had Ruben Owens, still 7,000-yard rusher, but
The offensive line wasn't that good this year.
That's the problem. They graduated that offensive line. So Kilgore moves forward. Yeah, I'm still thinking Kilgore, Tyler's Chapel Hill, Lumberton. Those are the three that have a good shot to me.
I'm gonna say this. I do want to say that. I know we got to move on. I do want to say this. It would not surprise me at all because we still need that one game. Chapel hadn't played very well in the playoffs. Let's just say that we haven't played, and I've talked to some other people outside the forum as well. They tend to play at the level of their competition, which is not very good. If your competition is bad, they tend to play down. If the competition is good or up, they tend to play up. That's not a very good. They got to be more consistent if they want to win now. And of course, a lot of people got a lot of tape too. They're down some superstar players that they've had. No excuse for that. The defense, however, has played very well. So I don't want to say that the teams are going to score a lot of points, but Chapel Hill's defense is. I'm not trying to be a homer either. Their defense has played very well. And a lot of teams have looked at the scores and stuff. Chapel has dominated a lot of these games that they've played, and a lot of people to talk about. So that's something to look out to. I know Lumberton's really good, but Chapel's defense is playing very well at this point. I'm anxious to see how this shapes up. Could be a district matchup in this region.
All right,
Chris, Brett, ask me if I want to do Region 4.
Chris, you want to do Region 4?
Well, absolutely.
Yes. All right. Let's go on to Region 4. Go for it, Chris.
I love it. I tell you, this is my favorite team, my favorite story of the postseason. Port Lavaca Calhoun started off the season 0-7, and they just keep winning. I don't think Canyon Lake was that strong, but Port Lavaca Calhoun has that option figured out. It's a young team. They finally got it working. When it works great. When it doesn't work, it's horrible. They took care of Canyon Lake 28-13. Bernie knocks off Pleasanton, scoring big, 50-28. Somerset over Lavernia, 23-13. Corpus Christi, Cal Allen, a good one against a good San Antonio Davenport squad, 22-14. Again, my heart is with Calhoun, the Sand Crabs. I want them to keep going. I see them facing off against Cal Allen at the region championship, but heck, I think Bernie has just as good a chance as anybody.
Yeah, I've kind of the consensus for the last few weeks has been it's Bernie and Cal Allen kind of on a collision course for that region. It's a good story, but they're playing they're going to play some real competition here against Bernie this week. So it'll really show how well they're playing.
Yeah.
So if they can beat Bernie though, then who knows?
Yeah.
Because maybe basically it shows them that they can compete against the top teams in that region. So I still like Bernie and Cal Allen in that region though to be in the final though.
Yeah, and I think a lot of their success is teams these days are not used to playing against an option.
Right.
Back in our day, they were used to that. Everybody ran the option,
Mhm.
but it's kind of confusing. So as they get further and deeper into the playoffs, you're going to get teams that react better. So
Mhm.
it's going to stop.